Joey Logano leading the field off of pit road. 40 cars to start today's 200-mile event. For Joey Logano, it happened just after his 18th birthday. We knew he was coming, but he had to turn 18 before he could start in the Nationwide Series. Then in September 2009, the big crash. That's what his car looked like there on the right. But after that, it was all good, and Joey Logano is again trying to tie a record for his 5th win at a track in Nationwide. He is our in-race reporter today. We're going to try to talk to him. DJ, see if you can find him.
Hey, Joey, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
Sir, I got you.
All right, Joey, we know all the records. You're trying to tie one here today with a 5th straight win. You've got a fast car, obviously, on the pole. I would like for you to try to explain to our fans the difficulty, though, with that fast race car and you being the leader as you approach some of these lap cars and the difficulty in anticipating what they're going to do, trying to focus on your job with the fast car and not let your competitors catch you from behind.
Yeah, it seems like that's when a lot of passes are made here in the Nationwide Series, is when you're catching lap cars, and sometimes it's just a guess. Sometimes they run the bottom, sometimes they run the top, and it's all about keeping that momentum and making sure you get by them as quick as you can, and obviously keeping your car safe. So you'll see that intensity level pick up quite a bit at the end of the race with lap traffic towards the front runners here for sure, and hopefully it's Hertz Mustangs up there at the end doing that.
All right, good luck with that. Hey, our mailbag question comes from Jared in Scottsdale, Arizona. And he said, you made your first career nationwide start here in 2008. In your return 6 years later, how has your approach towards the track changed?
Quite a bit. I feel like I know what I'm doing now, so that's good. The first time I came here, I was lost. So I got an idea of what I need in a race car now. Jeremy Bullins, all the guys have been able to give me what I need, and feel like I got a good piece to do that again today.
Well, I have to agree. You know exactly what you're doing. You do have a good man on the box in Jeremy Bullins. Now Andy's going to talk to him.
All right, great. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the race.
Hey, Jeremy Bullins, Andy Petrie in the booth. You have us?
Sure, Andy. I got you.
Jeremy got a lot of pressure on his shoulders today to keep this streak alive for Joey. What's it going to take to keep up this racetrack? Do you have to basically predict where it's going to go, or do you just react to it?
I think it's a little bit of both. You know how this place changes a lot. You've won some races here yourself as a crew chief, and I'm sure you had to make a lot of changes on those days because it'll change with the weather, it'll change with the amount of rubber the cars put down. So Joey will give us good feedback, and we hope we made the right changes overnight and keep this Hertz Mustang up front.
Well, you got a great start at it, Jeremy. Thanks a lot, and hope it works out for you. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, guys.
Jeremy Bullins leading the charge there. We will note with this long shot here that Joey Logano has chosen the outside lane as the pole sitter. That is his prerogative. We've got some great onboard shots for you today. Trevor Bain will be carrying our Advocare camera in the 6th car. Regan Smith will carry the Goodyear onboard camera. Chase Elliott will have the Napa onboard. Matt Kenseth will have the Sunoco onboard camera. Our in-race reporter will carry the Ford EcoBoost camera. Kyle Larson, last week's winner, will have the Chevy onboard camera. Dakota Armstrong, he'll carry the Nationwide Insurance onboard. And Kyle Busch, can he break through with a Toyota onboard camera on the 54 car? Let's get some stories from pit road. Here's Shannon Spake.
Well, Dave, points leader Regan Smith describes Dover as a rhythm track. He said, if you can find that rhythm, then you really like it here. If not, and you're just a little bit off, well, it makes for a very long day. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to find out what Smith wants in this car this weekend, but they have 200 miles to do it. Mike Massaro?
Chase Elliott has never raced here in a Nationwide car before, so to get acclimated, he didn't mess around. He went right to the master, Jimmy Johnson. He spent quite a bit of time talking to him about the ins and outs of this racetrack. What did he get out of that conversation? It's hard to tell because he says the Cup cars and the Nationwide cars are so different. One thing's for sure, though, it can never be a bad thing getting advice from a guy who's won here 8 times in the Cup Series, Vince.
Kyle Larson won last week at Charlotte. If he's to make it 2 in a row here today, he's going to need a better car than he's had in practice and qualifying. But crew chief Scott Zipadelli just told him, hey, we're not that far off. We're going to work on it. We're going to tweak it. We've still got a car capable of winning this race. We're about to find out. Dave?
Thanks, guys. Race fans, check out NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy to catch all the action live from Dover International Speedway. Then listening to some radios, here's Brian Scott's.
Boys look good out there today. Let's have a good day. Go have some fun. I think we got a fast race car. Try to get us one. Try to get us a monster. It's a fun victory lane, boys. Let's try to get there. Thanks for all your hard work. Let's go get it.
Brian Scott starting inside of row 2 here at Dover this afternoon. Joey Logano, the pole sitter. He's chosen the outside. On the inside, the guy that talked to 6-time, that's Chase Elliott. The pace car has pulled off. They slowly bring them to the restart area. And we are green at Dover. Chase Elliott hanging on the inside. He will lead lap 1.
I'm not sure that worked out the way Joey Logano had planned it. Chase Elliott doing a great job of staying on the inside there going into turn 3.
And that outside may work later in the race, but I think after this racetrack has sat a while, which we've had after cup practice was earlier, and then you had everything going on, that outside groove's not quite as good yet as what it will be later today.
And what does that tell you about Chase Elliott's race car?
yeah, he's been the talk in the garage area since practice started here on Friday.
Kyle Busch to the high side. He's been in his Sprint Cup car twice today for practice. We saw that a possible second line is coming in this afternoon as you see Regan Smith going by Chris Buescher for 9th. Brendan Gaughan hanging tough on the outside in that black and yellow 62. Now looking to the inside. Backs off. Let's Buescher have the line.
Yeah, Chris Buescher's first time here at Dover. He's been practicing yesterday, had his qualifying this morning, but these race conditions are unlike anything he's seen before. He's never seen a racetrack like this. But this young man's been really good here the past 4 or 5 weeks.
Brendan Gaughan gets by. Gaughan takes over that position. It is 10th. Here comes Ty Dillon to try to do the same. He's got him.
It doesn't matter. Chris Buescher just trying to get himself settled in. No reason to push the issue right now. Feel out his car and see exactly what he's got.
Feeling it out up front is Chase Elliott. He continues to lead over Logano and Kyle Busch. Looking a little bit further back, all the cars coming out of turn number 4 in a single line.
Yeah, the exits of these corners, turns 2 and 4, are some of the most difficult that these drivers encounter anywhere. A lot of speed that you carry up out of the corner. The car will start pushing, the back end will break loose, and then obviously you're going to have opportunities where you're going to be side by side, and that makes it even more difficult.
Yeah, and you're talking about a 1-mile racetrack, and you're going 160 miles an hour. I mean, these corners are tight. They're banked so much. You have so much grip as you do come up off the corner. I mean, that shot right there just shows you just how fast they get up on the straightaway.
On board with Chase Elliott.
There's got to be a tremendous amount of low G-forces and whatnot that you deal with on this style racetrack.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks that, you have some tracks that because of that, it sits you down in the seat. Some throw you over to the right, and this is that track that does both. Sits you down because of that. Whoa, that was close right there. But it sits you down and throws you to the right. It's very physically demanding. Now, this is only 200 miles, so that won't come into effect today, but 400 miles as they run tomorrow, and used to run 500 miles here. Made it a difficult time.
It was hard for the pit crew guys, I can tell you that, to even watch 500 miles. I can't imagine driving.
Ryan Reed taking over the 14th spot there from Mike Bliss. Ryan Sieg trying to do the same thing. Chase Elliott is your leader. He was the first one to lead around pole sitter Joey Logano. He continues to pace him here at Dover, the mile of concrete. Leads the Buckle Up 200 here at the Dover International Speedway, but it's been a little busier back here for Kyle Larson in the 42. He's got some issues. We're on board with Kyle on the left. Elliott Sadler in the 11 car. He's 6th. Kyle is 7th.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is Kyle Larson exploring that upper lane some, and I'm not sure that it was in completely, but he was sticking with it. I mean, he kept staying with it, trying to get it to work, and now I think he might have figured something out with it.
Elliott extremely high, and he'll battle back on the outside. Meanwhile, up front, things are getting a little bit closer. Kyle Busch has gotten around Joey Logano for second place. Logano staying to the low side except for the start of the race. Kyle using the high side. He got around, and today's first caution is out. It's for Todd Bodine.
There's some problems under the hood.
Todd, a 3-time winner here, helping out the 55 group to try to get their program where it could be. It's going to be a very short day. Not going to get a lot of data for them. Hopefully they learn through practice a little bit more about how to make their Camaro better.
You see some trash on the grill. Don't know if you overheated it, caused this problem, or what exactly happened, but you can see not running.
Sure looks like that could be the culprit.
So we were in the middle of saying Chase Elliott's still the leader, but second place had changed hands. That now to Kyle Busch around Joey Logano. Let's see how that happened, Danny.
Yeah, you see Kyle Busch kind of got up top there, started exploring that line a little bit too. Made it work pretty easy to get around Logano.
Yeah, I expected. We saw in cup practice that this racetrack widened out quite a bit. You can see it's blackened up there, so rubber is down there. I really thought, though, that the faster the cars up front were going to be around the bottom for the majority of the time until they got quite a few laps on their tires, and then they might move up and make that work. But Kyle Busch was coming for the lead.
That seemed to be the case for just about everybody except Kyle. Chase Elliott staying to the low line most of the way around.
Well, it's basically both of the Kyles were running the top lane.
Imagine that. Pits are open. It looks like we're going to have some takers, including the top two. Joey Logano in third stays out. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm surprised more guys didn't stay out with him. Only have just a handful of the top runners stay out. Actually, it looks like just Brian Scott.
Sadler running sixth. He comes down as well. And then on back. Mike Massaro?
And Kyle Busch coming down to a stop. He's saying he's been loose in, tied off. They're going to make a chassis adjustment. You can see the wrench going in the rear window there. A 4-tire change also expected there. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott saying his car is free, especially on landing. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment there on the 9 car. Also a 4-tire change. He's away.
Some 2-tire changes, some 4-tire changes, some who chose not to pit, including Joey Logano, who is now our race leader. Dover International Speedway, we're under caution for the first time. Way to go, Gabe. Getting James Busher service on and off of pit road. He was one of a number of teams that pitted. We'll get to that in a second after we talk about what's coming up on our motorsports calendar. Today, the Toyota NHRA Super Nationals qualifying at 4:30 Eastern on ESPN. Then it's the NHRA Summer Nationals tomorrow on ESPN2 at 4 in the afternoon. The Indy Duel in Detroit, race number 2, 3:30 Eastern tomorrow on ABC. And, of course, our next nationwide series race, it's the Michigan race, 1:30 Eastern on Saturday, June 14th. That'll be on ESPN. Going back to the 2 miles. So Joey Logano stayed out. There was some discussion about it between him and his crew.
It's only 17. We're not in a window to do it on more, so I think them guys will stay out in front of you here. All right, I'll do what you tell me to do. Yeah, I think it's too early. Hey, Cam, you want me to go? I still think it's too early. I'd stay out.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought they'd only run about 18 laps. I thought that was too soon to come. And I saw some of them come down pit road, probably cars that wanted some adjustments too, but I was really surprised more cars didn't stay out.
Yeah, and I saw some get 2 tires, and I just don't understand that at all. If you were going to come down pit road, why you didn't get forward? There's not going to be a time probably you're going to put 2 tires on the left side that's going to make your car better at some point in time. And even though it's a relatively short race, you still only have 4 sets of tires in there to deal with, and cautions could make that happen and work against you.
Still cleaning up oil around the Monster Mile. That was for something that came out of Todd Bodine's car to bring out our first caution here this afternoon. Joey Logano stayed out under these pit stops. He continues to lead. Back at Dover, getting ready for the restart. The 22 and the 2 stayed out. They were running 3rd and 4th. The 11 and the 6 cars both took 2 tires only. The number 9 in 5th is the first with 4 tires as we're back underway. It's clear out front, but heavy traffic behind him, 2, almost 3 wide through the corners there, guys.
They have a big disparity in who has the better tires. These are 2 cars. One has 2 tires, one took none on that last caution.
Stayed out. 42 car, Brian Scott did not pit that time. Trevor Bain, one of the cars, two.
Oh, how did he miss that one?
Chris Buescher in trouble, but saves it on the backstretch.
I tell you, he did a good job not to wreck that car.
Well, you see that on TV.
Buescher was running 9th in the 60 car. As you see the 9 of Chase Elliott going underneath Ty Dillon. Here's what happened to Chris Buescher.
Yeah, you're going to see it on TV now. You see a big group of cars gets a little bit of contact, and that thing is headed straight for the wall.
Yeah, that's what makes it so difficult. We talked about racing side by side on the exit of these corners. You can see you just get a little bit loose. You try to turn away from there. Wow, great save. You don't get to save them many times here.
Why is it, Dale, that when you nudge a car underneath, your car wants to turn left so bad?
Well, there's a couple of things. Part of it's the air, and the other part of it is you've got wheel in it trying to steer it away from there. And then that's whenever the front does turn, the back unhooks, and then all of a sudden you're sideways.
Here's the 54 hooked around the 3 of Dillon. Kyle Busch moving into the 5th place.
Now, he took 4 tires under that caution as well.
Here they are moving around slower traffic. It's Josh Rayom going to the high side. First time at Dover in a nationwide car.
While all this is going on, Kyle Busch has already lost 4 seconds to the leader, Joey Logano. You can see he got a really good break from the rest of the field.
Kyle restarted 8th, but Joey Logano is gone. And one of the reasons possibly why he stayed out, not only did they think they were in a fuel window, his car was good, right, DJ?
Yeah, when you've got a good car and you stay out. And, again, you've only got a certain amount of tires to work with. You want to make sure if you've got anything, you've got something to work with towards the end of the race if a situation should come up like that. Clean air means as much as anything, and drivers tell me a lot of times, in particular here, that the clean air is worth more than what the tires can benefit you. Now, we do tend to have some long green flag runs here, so we'll see how that works out.
Battle for 6th briefly was joined by Regan Smith, who now takes 7th from Elliott Sadler. You can hear Regan pedaling that throttle coming off the corner.
Yeah, we talk about it, they don't have as much horsepower as the Cup cars, but you still have to pedal the throttle some here. You're in the gas, you want to be in the gas a lot, but if your car's not handling, there's a lot of them that you see just aren't getting the job done. You see Elliott Sadler there struggling on the exit of the corner. That's where his car is just not working right now, and he's losing some spots because of that.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth does a great job to set him up for the pass.
He takes over 8th position right now, and then wiggling just a little bit behind him is Chris Buescher. Still wiggling.
Buescher made a nice comeback from that, though, and got himself back into the top 10.
Kyle Larson running in the 12th position. Earlier we thought we know he had some issues. Let's look and see what happened to him. You ride with Trevor Bain. Watch the 42-second car up.
Yeah, this is back in that first run after the initial green flag. You can see Elliott Sadler right on his bumper. Looked like the 42 was struggling some, and then he got somebody on his back bumper. Made him even looser there, Vince. Have they got it fixed for him?
Well, they're working on it for sure, but he was mean loose, so they addressed that, and they also were concerned about a possible tire issue.
The tires are up and everything? Yeah, they're all up, but I don't know, maybe you got some of that rubber on your tires and just took a couple laps to clean it off.
Kyle was running 6th when that happened. He's now getting pressure from the 39 of Ryan Sieg. And, Andy, we're looking up here at some right front damage.
Yeah, I thought I saw the last lap. It was the whole right side of the car. Looks like he's made a pretty good contact somewhere with the wall. Uh-oh. Yep, that's a pretty good lick right there.
Yeah, you got a loose race car, and you're up in that and in areas that don't have any rubber down. You can see he's outside of what that groove is. Wow.
Yeah.
My goodness. Last week's winner, Kyle Larson. Vince?
Well, remember in the pre-race, he said, I don't feel like I've done a very good job at this racetrack, but he hasn't had much to work with today. Car is mean loose. They did take a rubber out of that right rear to try to help him out, but you saw he still got his hands full as he tagged the wall with that right rear.
Yeah, we heard him asking about if there was a tire down. That's one time as a driver you're hoping they tell you, yeah, it was, because that would explain what's wrong with your race car. From that point, you got to make a lot of adjustments, and they still don't have it right yet.
So Kyle Larson soldiering on now. He falls back to 13th position in that 42 car. Up front, It's the guy looking to tie the record. Joey Logano, winner of the last 4 here at Dover International Speedway. That 22 car looking sweet right now. He's led 22 laps so far today. Is Nationwide Buckle Up 200. Folks, if you'd like to learn more about NASCAR today, check out NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy. Catch all the action live from the Dover International Speedway. On board right there with Dakota Armstrong. He's a ways back from this guy. Joey Logano was the pole sitter today, fastest qualifier among 40, and didn't lead initially, stayed out in the first round of pit stops, but once he did, he has taken command. And Kyle Busch, Andy, has been coming.
Yeah, he got back to about 4.2 seconds behind Joey Logano, and he's passing cars. He's already cut it below 2 seconds, 1.9 last time by.
Kyle, of course, stopped for 4 tires on that run, so he, with the fresher tires, should be making up some ground. You'd expect that. He looks to the outside of Brian Scott, still trying to make that pass work. It's tight coming off the corner. And Kyle Busch now clears for second place. Mike Massaro's covering his pit. Mike?
You know, Dave, he did more than just 4 tires. They also did a track bar adjustment, and Kyle really liked what Adam Stevens did on that last stop. He came over the radio not too long ago saying that adjustment made this car so much better. Not only is he gaining ground on, as we just saw, Brian Scott, it's also gotten the attention of race leader Joey Logano. Has already received word from his spotter that the 54 has come to life.
Yeah, we heard Kyle Busch after qualifying talk about how he didn't feel like he hadn't had the win, hadn't had the feel he's been looking for this weekend. I believe he's got it now.
Yeah, sometimes it only takes that little adjustment. You know, you're not exactly sure where it may be and where the track's going to go. But, you know, in their case, that was a good pit stop for them. They found that out early. Now, the 22 car looks to be really, really good. And he's at a little disadvantage as far as the tires go. But he still has a good car. And if they make a slight adjustment on his, then we're going to see these two battle to the end.
Yeah, one thing, though, that he did lose out on, Logano, was he's one adjustment behind on the rest of these cars because he stayed out. And we talked to Jeremy Bullins in pre-race about whether you predict which way the track's going to go or do you react to it. And I think the reason they've been so successful here, and Joey has, is he is really good at predicting where the track's going. Well, he's missed an opportunity to adjust on his race car by not making that first pit stop.
He's got a set of tires.
He does have that. That's the plus side.
Yeah. Well, Andy, I was going to say, what always amazes me is how you're constantly resetting all during the race. You know, Bullins didn't stop, didn't have his driver stop, so now it's reset. They've got data for that. Reset, and keep on calculating throughout the day.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. You just have to keep, like I say, keep up with all the data on the racetrack. You look at your lap times, you see what other cars are doing, and react to that. It's just, and then you rely on your experience as well.
Kyle Busch in position to win twice last year. Twice he came up short to the yellow 22 of Joey Logano, so it would be big vindication if Kyle could get that 54 back in victory lane here at Dover. See the gap coming off of turn 2. Logano back to Busch right now, about a second and a half.
Actually, last lap, Matt Kenseth was the quickest car on the racetrack back in 6th place.
Working some lap traffic now. That's Paulie Haraka in the 44 as we see 3rd place contested. Brian Scott holds it down right now. Chase Elliott trying to work him in traffic. Scott keeps that advantage as they head down the backstretch.
And this is a time whenever the tire situation becomes more of an issue where you're getting up near that 60 lap mark for the 2 car. But when you get around traffic and trying to maneuver your car there, you may have to take a little bit longer, and that's whenever these other guys that have tires can take advantage of that situation.
Chase Elliott, one of the leaders who did stop and put on 4 fresh tires, received an adjustment. Perhaps able to maneuver just a little bit better. So that's the battle for 3rd. Up front, it's still Joey Logano. He's won here before. He's been on the pole before. It's another banner day for the driver of the 22. On 4 fresh tires, Joey Logano having not stopped. But the lead was shrinking. And here it is now, Kyle Busch coming hard on the outside.
He made up a lot of ground pretty fast, but then once he got within like a second or so of the back bumper, Joey Logano, it was a little slower, but looks like now they're in lap traffic. We'll see who gets the advantage.
Derek opened the 70 on the low side, and Kyle makes his way around, as does Joey.
Seems like Joey's been pretty well committed to that lower line the whole run. And Kyle Busch jumped up there on that outside kind of right on off the bat in that first run.
Yeah, and he's going to get to his right rear quarter panel here in a minute, and Joey's not going to have much that he can do about it. See, Kyle drove it in a little hard there. You can kind of see the car go up the track right there. He was trying to get to that quarter panel where he knew he had that position on the exit of the corner. Just tried to get a little too much that time.
Where it goes from black to white there, that's no longer the groove, is it?
No.
Yeah, ask Kyle Larson.
Yeah, that's right. Huge traffic now for your leaders.
Yeah,
Logano coming up on J.J. Gailey right there, but they were too wide before.
and this is what we were talking to guys. Why I kind of brought it up to Joey as we were talking to him before the race, because anticipating where these guys are going, you know, you see and you can kind of look ahead as you try to attack the track, but they really don't know. You know, the cars aren't driving that well, so you just have to hope that they know that you're there and will kind of hold their position.
And you see just that right there, the momentum for Kyle Busch. Just a split second, he was late getting to the throttle, and you can see the big gap there that Joey Logano was able to pull.
Gailey in the 28 was holding down 20th position on the lead lap. He now goes one down.
But you can see there again what that cost Kyle, just that little bit. Whenever Gailey goes up the track, gets in front, takes a little bit of the air, and Kyle probably had to squeeze out of the throttle on the exit of 2, and therefore he's lost 4 or 5 car lengths to Joey Logano.
On board with Dakota Armstrong, he will go a lap down now in 19th place. We're picking him off now. We talked about the speed disparity early in the show, and it really shows up now, even with the old tires that the 22 has.
Well, you can just see from that shot right there just how up on the wheel and how those cars dance around. Joey Logano really fighting the car.
Yeah, but he's making it look not so bad. You know, he's so smooth with the wheel that he can do that. He's just so good and has such a good feel of it and knows exactly how to go about attacking this place and dealing with the
now you can see him fighting it.
Yes.
These drivers are so good at just putting that car right on that edge of grip and sometimes stepping just a little bit over it without getting in trouble.
This is a situation where you lose a lot of time. This is what you don't want to encounter. You've got a car that you're lapping, but he's just fast enough on that high side that it creates a situation for you. You can't. Now, this is where you're losing a lot of time because you can't get all the way in the gas. Still can't even make the pass.
That's Cale Conley in the black 33. He started 18th. He's still running 18th on the lead lap. His first time here. He's way up there. Had been trying the high line. He makes it work. Logano now gets a little bit of steam, but can't make the pass.
Yeah. And Cale Conley, he's not doing anything wrong. He's still not officially a lap down here, so he's doing his job. He wants to run as hard as he possibly can right there. It's just aggravating as the leader when you encounter a car.
You expect so much when you're the leader, don't you? Now, Kyle Busch will go to work on Conley as well as your leader comes up on some more lap traffic. That's the word of the day so far, traffic for the leaders. Joey Logano able to fend him off so far. He leads here at Dover over Kyle Busch, Brian Scott, Chase Elliott, and Matt Kenseth to round out the top 5. This will be their first opportunity to get on pit road, change tires, and adjust their car.
Yeah, it worked out perfect. They had just long enough run to get everybody in with him. And now he's going to be back in sync with the other cars.
Slowing down 35 mile per hour pit road speed for the drivers today.
Now this is one of the tightest, you know, I would call it one of the most dangerous pit roads because there's no room, you know, up the side to side of the car.
Let's go down to Vince.
It's going to be a clean shot in the box and out for the third place car of Brian Scott. Did a great job hanging on to that one because it was getting wicked loose at the end. They're going to make 4 tire change, a chassis adjustment, Sunoco fuel for Brian Scott. Mike?
Busch's biggest concern, his water temperature up to 278 degrees. They'll pull some tank, make a 4 tire change. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott saying he's been just a little bit free on landing. They'll make an air pressure adjustment to help him take off a little bit better. And meanwhile, Joey Logano completed his first stop of the day, a very good one, as he pulls off pit road and wins the race on pit road there.
Yeah, just a graphical thing there. Joey got 4 tires like everyone else did. And Kyle Busch picking up a spot on pit road. It was close, though. Here's the race off pit road at Dover under our second caution. Kyle Busch will be the new leader. The lead has changed at the Buckle Up 200 here at the Dover International Speedway. It happened on pit road. Kyle Busch's crew doing a great job.
They really did. That was a good 4-tire change. And that crew is so consistently fast. They put Kyle in a position, great positions because of their pit work.
He now has a chance to control this restart. You see that the free pass went to Dylan Kwasniewski in the 31 car. 17 cars currently on the lead lap now. And Derek Cope took the wave around. Green flag at Dover.
I think we're blowing up. Motors grind.
That's the radio of Josh Wise running back in the pack right now that you hear. This is a great battle. Trevor Bayne trying to hold off Chase Elliott for 4th.
Yeah, Trevor did a nice job that last run with the 2 tires that they had gotten on the previous caution. Looks like he's got a very good car. If he made an adjustment here, move up on in more inside the top 5 than what he's been running.
And then that's the goal, right? You take the tires for the position and hope you can just maintain and then move forward when you get 4 again.
Well, these two have been side by side for a couple of laps. For Kyle Larson.
Elliott Sadler in the 11 looking for a spot as well.
We've had times over the last few years that we've kind of made a joke about at times when Kyle Busch would get into the wall and run faster. Kyle Larson is a lot like that, I believe. It just doesn't seem to slow him down.
Yeah, when he hit the wall earlier, he was back in 13th after that happened. He drove his way all the way up to 9th before the caution came out here, and now he's in 8th.
Why would that be the case? Is he paying back the crew, or is he just frustrated with himself, a perfectionist?
Well, I think they're making it better, but these cars are very durable these days, and even taking that hit, it didn't damage the important parts of it.
Vince Welch is covering the 42.
Well, and in fact, they did make pretty significant changes, as we noted on that first stop, but this most recent stop, just 4 fresh Goodyear tires, no changes in regards to air pressure or chassis at all. So they're letting Kyle Larson do the work in the car. He says it's a little bit tight in the center, but it's better than it was in the initial run of the day. So looking up for the 42.
Well, I guess that last adjustment didn't hurt it too bad. That one it made against the wall.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, tight in the center sure beats what he was having to deal with that loose race car. And I know he doesn't want to go back to that side because you just can't attack this place the way that you need to with that loose of a car.
Looking much smoother off the corners now. Again, Kyle Larson running in the 8th position.
And just something I'll go back to quickly on that, the restart there where Kyle Busch chose the outside. It seems that inherently over the years that inside just you can't get going. Rusty Wallace talked about the 9 degrees of banking back in the pre-race show. It's just difficult to get up to speed when you're not in control of it. It makes it difficult, and Logano even lost 2nd spot.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons is because the racing line is right up next to the wall on the straightaway, and when you take that inside lane, you're on a part of the racetrack where it doesn't have a lot of rubber and it's not as clean as the rest of the racetrack. I think that's why they can't get going.
Kyle comes by to lead the 12th lap of the afternoon for himself. Matt Kenseth in the 20. He runs 2nd now. He got around Logano.
But Matt had some laps in that previous run that were the quickest on the racetrack, even though he was back in the traffic a little bit.
Yeah, and he had one of I believe made the very first pit stop coming in, and he likes that. That's something that Matt Kenseth likes. They get the job done. He gets there. He's not impeded in his progress there, and he gets out of there, and he made up, I believe, 2 spots as they made those pit stops.
I talked to his crew chief this morning. Kevin Kidd told me they have a really good possibility with that race car today. Felt like they were very, very close to a winning car.
Yeah, we have 3 cars in the top 4 that ran identical lap times to the thousandths of a second last lap. That tells you just how competitive it is.
The black 20 is Kenseth running second. Joey Logano, that yellow 22, not able to mount a charge back at this point. And then a little distance behind them in fourth is Trevor Bayne. There's Bayne fourth and Chase Elliott fifth.
Yeah, even when Kyle Busch has the clean air, he's not the quickest car, or hadn't been until we put it up there to show. He is that time.
That's how it works. Chase Elliott in that 9 car, he was fast in both practices. He was picked by a few to be the guy to beat today. His car's very quick.
You know, one thing that I think that you talk about Chase Elliott there, and you looked at the tracks where he won. You had night races, and the track didn't go through as big a change as what he'll see as a place like this here today. Even though we talk about the temperature not affecting the concrete surface as much, the track itself, because of the rubber that it takes, changes more than those. So that's something as a young driver that he's going to have to keep up with, give good information to his crew and crew chief to make adjustments for him.
We'll see if they can make some of those adjustments and move Chase up from where he runs right now, currently in the 5th position, behind 3rd and 2nd there. And this guy, the guy sponsored by a Monster, leading at the Monster. It's Kyle Busch with the lead at Dover. Uncage the Monster, and it's a concrete fact. You're going to see some action. Kyle Busch has moved to the front. Chris Buescher nearly caught the wall. Kyle Larson did. And Miles the Monster, his old self, once again here today. A reminder, tomorrow night on ESPN, the Pirates take on the Dodgers. And as you've heard, the Baseball Tonight crew will take over the telecast. 7 commentators positioned all around the ballpark, providing unique perspectives for our viewers. That's Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell Pittsburgh versus LA at 8 on ESPN. You can also watch live on Watch ESPN. Kyle Busch leads here at Dover International Speedway. Let's go up to speed with Nationwide Insurance. Mike?
Well, you look at the 54 out front, probably not surprised. I mean, after all, he's led a ton of laps in the series over the years. But we spoke with him in qualifying, and he said he wasn't all that confident about his car. Just didn't have the grip that he's accustomed to having here at this racetrack. Well, the car has gotten better throughout the course of the day. They've made several adjustments on it. It started off a little bit loose this run, but Kyle radioed in not too long ago saying it's starting to come to him, Shannon.
Well, Matt Kenseth currently running second. He has been turning some very fast laps, but the car has not been perfect. He's really been battling a tight condition. In fact, at one point, his spotter stopped giving him lap time and said, we'll start telling him how fast he's going when we get the car right. Running second and slowly chipping away at it. Mike.
One of the big stories here this weekend has been Joey Logano. After all, he comes in on a winning streak. 4 consecutive nationwide victories here at Dover. I spoke with his crew chief, Jeremy Bullins, this week, asked him why he's so good here. He says he's a lot like Tiger Woods in the sense that there are certain courses that Tiger just dominates. This is that course for Joey Logano. He's very happy with his race car right now, just a tick free. Vince?
And running in 4th is the 6 of Trevor Bayne. Finished 4th in this race last year, and they were optimistic that maybe they could challenge for it today. Really encouraged after that final practice, saying the car was extremely strong center off. Another good run here in the early going. They've worked on the car, but it's certainly been to Trevor Bayne's liking early on. Mike?
This may be Chase Elliott's first nationwide series race at the Monster Mile, but like just about everything else in his rookie season, he's making it look pretty easy. One little bobble, however, on the most recent restart, and he's been trying to play catch-up ever since.
The score is okay right here. Just got to get track position back. Yeah, Templar, I'll do a better job of getting you off that road.
Certainly maintaining his composure, although he still is playing that catch-up, now working traffic as he tries to make his way around Trevor Bayne.
Well, in running 6th is the number 2 car of Brian Scott. Started 3rd, so he's lost a couple of spots. Remember, he did not come on that initial yellow. They came, put fresh tires on it, tightened him up a little bit. Phil Gold, the crew chief, says we got to keep it secure all day long for Brian. Now, right behind him is the 3 car of Ty Dillon. 8 top 10s this season, but 0 top 5s. And that's a disappointment for this team. They feel like they should be challenging for those top 5 spots. The car way too loose right now. His spotter, his dad, Mike Dillon, trying to get him to arch it into the corner a little bit better. And Kyle Larson is currently running in the 8th spot, and we've already addressed some of the issues that he had. Way loose. They thought he had a tire going down. He got into the wall a little bit, a little damage to the right front splitter, but otherwise they have pulled it together, and the 42 is very solid. Shannon?
But when we spoke with Regan Smith before the start of the race, he wasn't overly confident with his car. Said he just couldn't get the feel all weekend long. Right now they're still battling tight conditions. Says it's very difficult to pass. They're talking about getting pretty aggressive on the next pit stop, possibly a spring rubber for the 7 car. Then.
And in 10th place is the 11 of Elliott Sadler. The last 5 races, he's had 4 top 6 finishes, including a win at Talladega and a runner-up finish at Darlington. The car today, it's been a handful. He says it feels like they hit a light switch and it just goes dead loose. The spotter, Brett Griffin, said we're bouncing too much on landing. So work to do on the 11, but still he's in the top 10. Dave?
Thanks, guys. Great information through the top 10 as the battle for second place just got really hot. Joey Logano now moving right up on the back bumper of Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, I think with what I'm seeing, this 22 car might be the better car on the longer run. His tires don't seem to fall off as much, and we'll see if he's able to make this pass and get around Kenseth and then start finding his way up to the 54 car.
Yeah, pretty obvious his car was easy on tires because he stayed out after the first 17 laps when other cars pitted. He was able to hold the lead all the way through the next run.
The characteristic of the 22 bunch, long run race cars. 54 has been pretty good on the short runs. We'll see if he can maintain this lead when we come back to Dover. Join NASCAR in honoring our armed forces by tweeting or posting your personal salute using hashtag NASCAR salutes, or visit NASCAR.com/salute today. Had a chance to do that on Memorial Day. Felt good to say thanks. We don't get a chance to do that enough. Here's a guy saying thanks. Thanks for the great car. Thanks for the great pit stops. Kyle Busch leading here at Dover. He has led 43. We see 8th place going on right now. The 7 of Regan Smith, our championship leader. The 42 of Kyle Larson.
Yeah, Larson has picked it up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is what we talked about. His car was better handling than what I was getting ready to say, but he was quite a ways back from Regan Smith.
Well, his car control is incredible, but that's not where you need to be for even 200 laps here at Dover, right?
No, it's just, you try to get just a little bit more out of it, and he'd gotten in a really good rhythm and made up a lot of time running some fast laps, and then all it takes is that one time that you miss it just a little bit or try to give it a little too much extra, and you get in trouble.
See Kyle Larson working the 9-degree banked front straightaway and then down into the corners, 3 G's of force holding him in the seat.
Yeah, you can, from that shot right there, you do get kind of that sense of what it's like going around here. Dale likens it to a roller coaster.
A good one or a bad one? That depends.
Yeah, it depends. Yes. If your car is good, it's a blast to negotiate this. I hadn't been on any roller coaster to go 160 miles an hour, but you get that same feeling with some of those drops that you have. That's what happens. The track feels like it just goes away from you, and then you land. We hear these drivers talking about their car not very good on landing, and it literally is that.
Well, we went to break watching these two battling for second. It's still going on. Joey Logano staying in the rearview mirror of Matt Kenseth.
These are two very evenly matched cars, and they've been right together just about this whole run.
Yeah, I think at some point in time, unless he catches right here where he might have a pick from a lap car or something, Joey Logano's going to have to try that outside. He might make this stick and before they get to this lap car. Now, Kenseth's got too much on the high side, but I think he's going to have to try him on the outside. Joey's just going to have to move up, see if he can make that pass, see if he's going to make it work right here.
Matt wondering if traffic is going to take the same line in 2 different corners. Cale Conley trying to do his thing and stay out of the way. A little loose off that corner in the 33.
Yeah, when they don't know, it's hard for you to anticipate.
Matt Kenseth now working back around Dylan Kwasniewski. Kwasniewski got the free pass on the last caution, but has since gone a lap down to the leaders again. Struggling weekend for the 31 group. So Kenseth and Logano move through in second and third. Kyle Busch has checked out. His advantage 3.3 seconds now over them. And they're going to need another pit stop to make some adjustments and get their cars right if they're going to catch Kyle Busch.
Yeah, one big thing is Kyle's car, he's gotten it so good now. He jumped out on that restart, and with the clean air before they start encountering traffic, he gets such a big lead on them as they kind of race for second spot back there.
Yeah, this load of Sunoco fuel will take them to about lap 160 or so before they'll have to make a pit stop.
73 to go right now. Again, Andy calling for perhaps lap 160 for the next stops. And remember last year, it turned on the pit stops. Kyle wanted 4. Everyone else took 2. And it put Kyle back in the 10th position on the restart. That really ended his day. Trevor Bayne, the 6 car, he runs 4th. Chase Elliott in the 9.
Yeah, both of these drivers on this entire run have been very solid with their lap time, either matching what Kyle Busch is running or very near that. And they've been very solid. Chase Elliott has gotten to the back bumper of Trevor Bayne a couple of times, but not able to make the pass for that 4th spot.
Vince Welch.
It's been a good time for Trevor Bayne as well. Recently announced he'll run full-time in the Sprint Cup Series next year as his sponsor Advocare steps up and goes to the next level, and he's running like a Cup driver today. They've given him a good car to work with. He says right now it's a little bit too tight to the center, and then he gets loose in the middle, and they're trying to talk about how they're going to fix that on the next stop, and if so, he believes he's got something that can challenge for the win today.
Yeah, you can see watching that M car there that it's got a little bit of chatter there. And this racing surface being concrete, it's a little bit rough. And you can see just what happens, especially as you get some laps on the tires. The air pressure is totally built up in this, so it'll start bouncing and chattering just a little bit. It's a handful to drive. There's nothing like having job security to make a young driver feel secure, and then you get the most out of him. He's relaxed as he's been because he knows he's moving to the Cup Series, and this is going to help the rest of this year for him and the rest of this team.
Very good thing for Trevor Bayne. Good thing for our viewers is the motorsports calendar. The Toyota NHRA Summer Nationals qualifying will be up next on ESPN. That'll be at 4:30. The Toyota NHRA Summer Nationals tomorrow, ESPN 2, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. The IndyCars, the Indy Duel in Detroit, race number 2, 3:30 tomorrow on ABC. And then join us on ESPN June 14th. That's Saturday, 1:30 Eastern Time for the next nationwide series race. Kyle Busch leads at Dover. NASCAR fans, visit www.nascar.com/green to learn more and make a donation.
Yellow's out. Debris under the bridge in 2.
Debris on the track. For reasons of safety, NASCAR puts out the caution, and that's turn 3 actually where they'll find the debris.
Yeah, we heard some of the spotters talking about that just a lap or so ago. NASCAR found it.
And they had about 20 more laps worth of fuel in their race cars, but this is going to put them, looks to be in their final fuel window, Andy, for the race.
Yep, they'll top it off with 4 tires here and a load of Sunoco fuel. It'll take them all the way to the finish.
And then you got what you got.
Yep.
It's the third caution in the last 300 laps here. When you think back to last fall, they ran 160 under green. They've run just over 100 today under green. It's been all green, green, green on the very white concrete Monster Mile. Kevin Kidd and Adam Stevens among those, now figuring out what are we going to do for our race driver at this point. Chad Norris looking on for Trevor Bayne. All making the decision. So last fall we saw the race lost by taking 2 tires. Does anybody even chance it here?
Well, I mean, it's a chance for some of the guys that have not had any track position all day to do it. I think for the leaders, at least for my car, I'm taking 4 tires.
Well, there's only 12 cars left on the lead lap. Ryan Sieg being the one in 12th, doing a great job here today. But, yeah, if you take 2 tires, you will lose this race right now, I'll guarantee you.
You see Brendan Gaughan in the 62 car there. He will be the recipient of the free pass here. Kyle Busch will lead them on to pit road. Pit road is open. And as expected, Kyle Busch turns left. To pit road and Shannon.
Well, a lot of talk on this 20 radio for Matt Kenseth. He said the car went so loose about 4 laps ago that he thought he was going to have to give up a spot. You see that wrench in the back window. They are going to make a chassis adjustment, and it looks like 4 tires for the 20. Vince.
Well, the 6 of Trevor Bayne, bottom left-hand side of your screen, needs some turn on the entry. Said it's tied in, loose center, tied off. 4 tires, Sunoco fuel. Also talking about some wedge for Bayne. Mike?
Adam Stevens very clear on what happened last year. Had to rethink his pit strategy. He's going to go with 4 tires this time. Also a chassis adjustment. Meanwhile, the 22 on pit road as well. A 4-tire change for Joey Logano and also a chassis adjustment. He needs to be able to move around better. The 54 car wins the race off pit road. The 22 following.
And as Kyle Busch just put himself back into position to win this afternoon, he wins the race off pit road. Matt Kenseth follows him off. Joey Logano in 3rd position. Back at Dover for the restart.
$57 laps to go here in Dover. Here's what you missed so far with the Ram race rundown. Regan Smith, not a huge fan of Dover, middle of the pack. You say he's got to embrace the track.
Yeah, he really needs to fall in love with this racetrack. He doesn't like it. He's running 9th right now. He's still got the points lead by 6 points, so he's looking pretty good today.
Yeah, Ty Dillon's another one. Started 12th, and we've seen him move up to 7th. He's been pretty much in that mid-pack. Like to see him progress just a little bit more.
Getting ready to go green. Kyle Busch out front. Dave Burns.
Thanks, Nicole. He chooses the outside line over teammate Matt Kenseth. Logano and Bayne run in row 2. Three wide behind him, Chase Elliott in the middle.
Well, they got that sorted out rather quickly, but it looked like that could get kind of interesting on the exit of turn 4 there for a minute.
They've just made what should be their final pit stop for fuel. They do have tires remaining behind the wall if they need them, and if they should choose to stop. Brian Scott making it tight in turn 3.
Well, his teammates racing really close. Trevor Bayne's up there trying to take 2nd away from Matt Kenseth.
And Logano taking advantage to the outside. For the first time today, maybe in the 22, it doesn't work.
Now, his car just will not work up there. I saw him a couple of times. I mentioned that he was going to have to try that around Matt Kenseth earlier. He tried it, just his car doesn't work there. Trevor Bayne got a great run off of turn 2.
Little bobble right there, trying to get around Kenseth in the 20.
Well, look at Joey Logano close right up on the back bumper of Kenseth.
Yeah, and literally push him past the 6 car there. You think Kyle Busch is up there with a big smile on his face, watching all this happen behind him?
The advantage about 0.7 of a second now. You can see Busch out front. There's the gap.
Logano working hard there, trying to make that. He knows that Kenseth isn't going to give up that bottom. If he's going to have any shot at Kyle Busch, the outside looks like about the only way around him, unless he just forces something here.
So you want your car to work everywhere. Trouble for Cale Conley in the 33.
Go ahead, just hold what you got there. They're still coming. They're still coming. Don't unhook.
All get by.
That's Keith Barnwell, the spotter for the 33. He's telling him, don't unhook your seatbelts because this thing's not over till it's over.
There wasn't nowhere to go right there. You hit the bottom and he got turned back into you.
He had run near the tail end of the lead lap most of the day. He was 18th and 2 down when this occurred. Again, Cale is there. It looks like he's going to get that window net now. There's the good sign.
Yeah, you can see this car here. I believe it might be Ryan Reed coming off of turn 4. Looks like he's not quite clear, and I think that's James Busher. Now you see Cale Conley was just going to be able to get by all that.
Taking advantage of the situation and got in trouble with it.
Nothing he could do about it.
You ride with Dakota Armstrong.
So many times you see it happen here, though. You think you have an opening, you go try to make that, and then the next thing you are the caution and in trouble, out for the day.
And again, it's just so narrow down the front straightaway. That banking brings everything to the bottom, and nothing Cale Conley could do.
Again, thank goodness for safer barriers. His dad, Yale, is here today. Talked to him earlier this weekend. Proud of this young man. But Cale's out of the race today. So we mentioned the fact that they just topped off with fuel. They can make it to the end. There are tires fresh sitting behind pit wall. Andy, want to give up any track position here?
Well, they've only run 9 laps. I don't expect the leaders at all to come down, but you know, they may later, if we can run a fairly long run, they may use those tires later part of the race, but not right now.
Kyle Busch cycling around under caution. There's Logano. Does he have anything for him? Again, Logano going for a record tie today. Will be his 5th win here in a row.
This is an opportunity for somebody like Regan Smith running 9th. There's only, 14 cars on the lead lap. He could come down and get an adjustment or two if he needs it to try to help his car not lose much.
Yeah, and looking up towards the front, so we got another restart here. It's going to be Kenseth going to get that inside again because Kyle Busch is going to take the outside. Logano's going to be behind him, and there's only one thing worse than restarting on the inside with sticker tires. That's restarting with tires that you've run and have heated up and trying to get going on that. And so he's going to be fighting once again. Kenseth hated to see that caution come out.
Yeah, one of the things that happens here, they put that rubber down in the groove during the run, and then when the caution comes out, these hot tires will actually pick up the rubber, the residue off the racetrack, and pick it up on the tire. It's really hard to get the tires cleaned off. You can see right in that shot how the tires have already pulled up the rubber that's on the track.
But does the grip level, the track itself, does it go back to a true green feel like it was never run on? Why not?
No, it doesn't. But, I mean, even though we see it cleaning up some there's still a rubber that's embedded down in there, and so you're not going to get that. It will quickly go back the other way after just a couple of laps.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how it happens. You see it clean itself off like this with the hot tires that are going around. And about 2 laps after restart, you'll see the track go right back to black like it was. It's kind of a weird thing. But I don't know what it is. It doesn't completely clean that rubber off like you talk about.
The free pass was not awarded this time. The 16 was involved in the accident, so he would have been the eligible car. He is not. There's Ryan Sieg. Ryan Sieg in that 39. Pit road is still closed at this point. Great run for him, running 12th, and has not gone a lap down all day long.
You talk about a driver that's doing a lot with not as much as you see no sponsors on this car. But so very impressed with this young man, especially the entire year. It started back at Daytona, and he just continued on. It seems week in and week out that he's there getting as much out of this race car as you can possibly get. Very talented race driver.
Yeah, he seems to find a way to make us talk about him every week.
Finished ninth at Daytona to start the year, and this is his 16th career start in the Nationwide Series. Joey Logano has led laps today. He's currently running in the 3rd position, but not so happy with one of the guys he's running against.
Freaking 6 tire squeezed me. He's not going to give me any room. He doesn't know how. Tell you what, I'm about to start spinning people out. I've had enough.
Is that what you say when you're running 3rd and not leading?
Hey, yeah, you're trying to win 5 in a row. You want them. But
you want him to get out of your way.
Not doing anything wrong there. That's just a frustrated driver knows that he had. Trevor Bayne was doing exactly. That's what you do. He's trying to keep that spot too. He's trying to go forward, see if he can get his chance to win a race.
Well, and he's hungry because he hasn't won a race since last year, June in Iowa. That's 32 races ago. So Trevor trying to get back on the winning side. Flag still waving. Pit road is still closed. They're still working on the cleanup from Cale Conley's wreck over in turn 1.
Yeah, and what's happening is that's the exit lane off pit road where they're cleaning up all that mess, and they don't want these cars. Oh, now they've got a mess. They got the rollback stuck.
Now we need a truck to get the truck out.
Let's hope he doesn't get stuck.
From the previous caution, another driver not so happy with things. Matt Kenseth opining about the 22.
Can you find out what the 22's deal is there, Chris? I'm not really sure. Seems to be running into me and waving me and stuff. I don't really understand exactly why.
He just said he's just a little frustrated. It seemed like every time he got a run on us, we got in traffic.
Yeah, the only time I got under me in traffic is because those lap cars held me up so bad. As soon as I cleared the lap cars, I left him by 10 car lengths. So if he would ever got position on me or stayed within a car length for more than 2 sets of corners, I would have let him go like I always do.
So, DJ, what does Matt do with that information?
He'll remember it. Yeah, so I guarantee. I don't know exactly what Joey did to him. It sounded like maybe that few hand signals, possibly, and he could have just been saying hi.
Well, that's why they call it a race, right? I mean, you're supposed to try to hold the guy off. Matt doing nothing wrong there.
Oh, the top, second and third place, a little bit interesting to hear what they have to say. The guy out front, well, he just cruised along. Kyle Busch, your leader under caution here at Dover.
We're not stuck anymore.
Dodgers and something special. Baseball Tonight crew is going to take over the telecast. 7 of our commentators positioned all around the ballpark, providing unique perspectives for our viewers. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. Pittsburgh versus Los Angeles. That's 8 on ESPN, and you can also watch live on Watch ESPN. Still under caution here. Why don't we dial up our in-race reporter, DJ?
Hey, Joey, Dale Chair. You have a copy?
Yeah, 10-4, got you.
Hey, I can probably say safely that these restarts aren't your friend, and as of right now, anyway, a little bit difficult. But can you explain to our fans why that inside line is so difficult to get started on?
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know why, it's always been like that here at Dover. It's a lot of wheel spin on that inside lane, and then also when you get into the corners, those outside cars can pin you down pretty hard. And kind of wish I was 4th right now instead of 3rd, but I'm going to make the most of it here.
If you can get by the 20, you feel like you've got the car to beat the 54 here?
Yeah, I definitely do. 20's been doing a good job holding us up here all day, so I got to get by him, I promise.
All right, thanks for talking. Good luck, bud.
I like the confidence passing the 54 in the response to the 20. That's great. Well, Vince, it wasn't a great day for Cale Conley, but he's walked to you.
Yeah, and good to see that Cale's okay after that incident. What happened?
We were just kind of trying to chip our way back up through the field, and we didn't really need to be back there. We were at a way faster car than that. My inexperience at the beginning of the race kind of got us back there, but that's what you got to do to learn. But we were a couple laps down, and I guess we tried to go low to miss that wreck, and kind of got into it. So yeah, I didn't get to see it there, but hey, I'm just glad to be racing here in the Nationwide Insurance. I'm going to thank IAVA for being on the race car, and being a part of RCR is a pretty cool feeling. So we'll come back strong, and this is always a dream come true.
Yeah, keep digging, Cale. Let's go to Dave.
Thanks, Vince. Ryan Reed and James Bush are involved in that incident. Both have been on and off in pit road for repairs. All right, guys, coming up on almost 40 to go, 43 to go. That outside line for Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, and Joey Logano have that unpreferred inside line.
Yeah, they're going to have to settle second place in a hurry to make sure they don't lose contact with this 54 and have any chance of winning if this goes green.
Yeah, what I heard out of Joey Logano is he's going to be a little more serious about taking that spot on this run.
Cloud cover covering up the Monster Mile. Kyle Busch and Matt Kenseth in row 1. Restarts have been tricky here. They lead him off of turn 4. We're green again at Dover.
I'll tell you, Matt Kenseth did as good a job as you can do from that inside line right there. We'll see what happens from here.
Side by side for second, Kenseth and Bain.
Well, Trevor Bain got a tremendous start.
He did what he was supposed to do from the outside.
How obvious can you make it? Right there, right? Yep. Logano struggles in 4th, slips up to the high side. Chase Elliott pressuring. Ty Dillon inside Brian Scott for 7th. And there goes Logano back to the preferred inside line.
Well, Kenseth was way up the racetrack that time. Made it easy. Looked like a pretty easy pass for Joey Logano. I don't know how Kenseth got up there, if he had a little help or not.
I don't think he had any help. It looked like he just kind of drove down in, and the car didn't do what he was expecting to happen, and it shot him up the track.
And Logano still finds himself in 3rd. You got to go up there and try to pass Trevor Bain now, and Trevor's got a good car.
He really does, and they've made good adjustments. He's done a great job being patient throughout the day and getting the most out of this 6th car.
And they were under caution for quite a while there. They last pitted on lap 141. None of the leaders pitted on that particular caution. It's like a pretty smooth wheel coming off the corner, DJ.
Yeah, it really does. You know, he's got enough wheel in it here where he's got security with the car, and he's able to get back in the gas and carries a lot of speed on the exit of the corner.
Battle for fourth. Chase Elliott pressuring Matt Kenseth.
Matt's car just doesn't seem to be to his liking since we went back to green here.
So it's a little bit like we saw last week at Charlotte. Matt Kenseth very dominant at one point in the race, but when it got toward the end, he just couldn't go. Seemed like his car is going away a little bit as this one winds down.
Up in front, Logano keeps inching closer to the 6 car. Trevor Bayne for that second spot's got a big run off turn 2.
Bayne choosing the low line. That's the one Logano wants. Very close.
Yeah, he'll either try to loosen him up without using the bumper, or if he has to, he doesn't have much time here, about 35 laps. He can't waste any time here if he's going to have any chance at winning.
Whoa, bobble there for the 22. Yep. So while Joey Logano continues to try to set up Trevor Bayne, Kyle Busch gets away. Just over a second lead here at Dover. But last lap, Logano got to that low side. Looked like he had Trevor cleared.
He had a big run off of turn 2, got in position, but just couldn't make it stick the way that he needed to down in turns 3 and 4. Trevor Bayne did a good job of holding him off.
Yeah, Logano's car is working really good right on the exit of the corner. He was carrying some momentum, got right to the bumper of the 6, and I'm not sure that they didn't touch a little bit, but he was not able to make the pass.
We dialed up our in-race reporter in the last caution, talked to him. He was very confident about beating the 54 car. He was more concerned about getting around the 20. We didn't talk about the 6. Got to deal with Trevor Bayne before he can get to the lead.
Yeah, well, we didn't throw that in.
Get by him and get a caution. We got a shot.
You can see he's really wheeling this thing. You can see the back end hung out there as he got back to the gas down in 1 and 2.
Yeah, and we talked about Matt Kenseth fading, but he's not fading now. He's starting to come back to this group.
These two cars both running faster lap times right now than leader Kyle Busch. They're doing something right. And we saw on the restart how much starting on the outside mattered. The 2 cars that started on the outside, they're running first and second. Dylan Kwasniewski with trouble.
This has a tire rub on that left side.
What do you want to do here?
Almost like a track bar.
Yep, and you know, that's kind of funny. I had a talk with
Just roll around for now. Hopefully get a caution here. If not, we'll pit.
I talked to this team about just how hard
Way off the pace here.
this track is on suspension components, and they've had problems before with track bar mounts at this racetrack.
Kwasniewski was running in 14th, a lap off the pace when this happened, and it's been that kind of a weekend for him. It just hasn't gone well for Dylan.
I don't think that'll last very long at that rate.
If it's a track bar mount, it's going to just continue to get worse and worse. And quickly.
Coming out. Let's bring it through here so we don't get a flat here. See what we got here. Take care of it, Dylan.
Dylan's last lap time, inching toward that minimum speed that NASCAR requires for him, and they're going to bring him to pit road.
Yeah, I said it's a track bar.
That's exactly what it looks like.
So Kwasniewski, who had a brilliant start to the year with a pole at Daytona, has had some rough rides, actually bounced back very well last week, recovered to finish in 13th position after smacking the wall and having a problem on pit road. They'll tend to the 31 car now.
Yeah, the 6 has gotten closer to Kyle Busch here. Kyle encountered some lap traffic that he caught kind of at the wrong spot as the leader, and this allowed Trevor Bayne to get up there and challenge him now.
Yeah, he just pulled right away from Joey Logano.
Trevor's been fortunate to kind of catch the traffic where it didn't impede his progress on the exit of the corner, where he could kind of use up the whole racetrack, stay in the gas. See now as they get a little bit of clear traffic what happens.
Remember, we illustrated in the pre-race show how lap traffic can affect the leader at the end of the race. We saw Ryan Truex lose a heartbreaker here to his teammate Logano. Championship leader Regan Smith not having a stellar day. Elliott Sadler pressuring him for ninth.
Yeah, neither one of these drivers have really been on their game, so to speak, here today. We expected a little bit more from them, but it has been a track that Regan Smith has struggled at with only one top 10 finish here.
I believe he used the word hated for the place.
I was trying to be nice, but yeah, he's going to struggle to stay inside the top 10 as Sadler's able to take that spot away in ninth. That is a championship point right there.
Yep, they were within 5 points when the day started. As they run right now, Regan Smith is a championship leader over Elliott Sadler by 4. The other thing it's done, Smith running back here, is it's brought the other guys forward. Chase Elliott now better position than he was. And the 6 car of Trevor Bayne, look where he's running, better position than he was. So Regan struggling again at Dover.
It just takes what you think is maybe a 2-car race for the championship, and they all know better than that because so many things can happen. But just races like this, it only takes a few, and then you've got 5 right there in the mix.
What's the guy in the left thinking? I want a championship. I know he's thinking that. But he also knows it's a long season. There's a lot of time for these guys to continue to stay out front. I'd say recover, but he's still the leader. Dale Earnhardt Jr., owner of the 7 of the 9. Chase Elliott, the rookie who's won a couple of spectacular races this year. Seeing his team running here at Dover. Here's the lead. Kyle Busch has it. Trevor Bayne, a great run since the green.
And what we talked about, lap traffic, it was what closed them up. But they haven't had to deal with any of that reason. It's just that this 6 car is really good on this run.
Here they come now. J.J. Yaley in that yellow 28 stands between Kyle and Clean Air. No, he'll get to another one quickly.
You know, he would like to be able to get to this 54 car before the 22 is able to close back up on him, where if he needs to try an outside pass a time or two to see if he can do that, he doesn't have to worry about losing the 2nd spot.
To the low side of Jeffrey Earnhardt. That's Earnhardt in the 4. Now Kyle Busch has to contend with Timmy Hill in that 23. Drivers were told by NASCAR to take the high line if they could going through the corners. If they were in the low line and felt like they needed to stay there, they could, but hold your line. Generally speaking, they move to the high side. Leaders are through.
And Kyle caught the 23 car there at a good spot. He's in the center. It didn't slow him down going through the center of the corner, and then he could exit.
13 to go now for Kyle Busch. Trevor Bayne trying to track him down.
Joey Logano there. He is right there. He's just wanting a shot. He's hoping that they might get a couple of these lap cars running side by side.
That was a corner for Trevor Bayne. And when you get that close like Trevor, is it hard to maintain the discipline that you need to run what you need to do and not overdrive the race car trying to get there?
Yeah, but this is just one of those tracks that you almost have to overdrive if you're going to get it done, especially when you're trying to chase down Kyle Busch. You know, you just have to try to get that little bit extra. You obviously don't want to mess up. He has a championship that he has to be thinking about here, but he also knows here is his opportunity to go beat Kyle Busch at one of his better racetracks.
You wonder if Kyle has been holding anything back at all, maybe stepping it up here. And thinking again, back to the lap traffic. Remember the Truex pass, that happened with 6 to go. So there's plenty of lap traffic in front of these leaders before this thing's over.
I'll tell you, this is about as strong as we've seen the Roush cars all season long. This 6 car's for real.
Chris Buescher, his teammate, is running in the 11th position. Ryan Reed had trouble earlier.
Yeah, Chris Buescher again with an outstanding run. He's not quite in the top 10 today, but he's doing a great job for his first time. He'd never even been to this racetrack, so to see it for the first time and running 11th, another good job.
Just in front of the leader, Jeremy Clements, and then side by side up ahead, that was Paulie Haraka in the 44. And James Buescher in the 99. They now get single file. 9 to go for Kyle Busch.
Yeah, so far he's been pretty fortunate with some of the lap traffic, but even right here, that's impeding his progress there. We'll see the 6 car probably have a little bit better time on this particular lap, even though he's getting a break right now. Bain had his chance, but Kyle Busch is just so good through this. I mean, he's going to work his way around that. It's just a matter of encountering him at the wrong spot or having 2 cars get side by side would be his biggest issue.
Remember, he dominated the truck race here last night, had to do a lot of weaving in and out of slower trucks. He's had some experience even this weekend, and Trevor just caught at the worst time the Clements car coming off of turn 4. That gives a lot of space to Kyle now.
Yeah, that's exactly what you don't want to happen, but it does.
Battle for 4th right now. Elliott pressuring Kenseth.
I think Chase Elliott's a little faster than Kenseth, but we saw this in that last round. Matt Kenseth is, he can make that car wide. His car's good enough. He's good enough, especially on the exit of the corner. It makes it very difficult. I think the 9 car's a little bit better right in the center, but that's not where you make passes.
Matt has settled in that 20 car, but he hasn't been able to move forward since the restart. Not the car that we thought he had earlier in the race.
You can see right there, Chase Elliott in the 9 tried to get down in, maybe get to the back bumper a little bit of the 20 car. Got his car a little bit upset, driving in a little too far. Lost a couple of car lengths.
Interesting watching them running together. You think back to lap traffic is what I'm probably going to go on here. But Chase's dad, Bill, had to step out of his race car back in I think it was 1998 for Bill Elliott, and Matt Kenseth was a rookie who had never raced in Sprint Cup, raced in that Cup car that day and finished in the top 10. So while the battle for 4th settles as it is, you see Kyle Larson moving to the background there. Here is leader 54 Busch working through Buescher, the 99, who is laps down. Trevor Bayne just over a second behind him, trying to pull him in with 3 to go. James Buescher in the 99 is 2 laps down right now. So he yields to Kyle. Two to go.
Kyle will be looking for one of his weekend sweeps. Winning the truck race yesterday, and if he can hold on here just for the lap and a half.
He's the only driver running all 3 events this weekend. Last night, dominated the truck race for his 133rd overall win in NASCAR across the 3 National Touring Series. Through 1 and 2, he's looking like a winner today. Kyle Busch comes back from a year of frustration. Kyle wins at Dover.
You made me work for that one. Loose, boy. Loose.
And that crew did a lot of work today. He was loose in qualifying, talked to us before the race, told us he wasn't sure what he had for a race car today. And the few things they could change between qualifying and this race and what they did on pit road, that got this car to victory lane.
That got him in charge of the restart, and that was so important to be able to choose that and set the pace there. And you could hear him say that he had a loose race car there today. Probably why he was having to be a little bit easy with it around traffic and encountering that and maneuvering through that, but did an outstanding job once again.
Yeah, great pit stops by the pit crew, as they usually do. Kept him out there, like I said, controlling those restarts. They're back to form.
And remember, he didn't pass Joey on the track when Joey had the lead. He passed him on pit lane, so give that crew a lot of credit. The fans here at the Monster Mile loving this.
Getting their money's worth.
the all-time leader in the Nationwide Series. As far as wins, and we mentioned it, we add one to the total, 134. Camping World Trucks, NASCAR Nationwide, and Sprint Cup career victories for Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch celebrating here at the Dover International Speedway, the bow from the Las Vegan. Meanwhile, Matt Kenseth not so happy. That race. In qualifying today, however, something a little bit different we see after victory lane here. Very loose race car, and he wasn't too sure about it.
I don't know about today. It's probably not as good as I felt in a long time in a Nationwide car, so we'll just have to see how today goes.
His car came back, his crew came back, and he did the bow here at Dover. After last year giving up 2 races where he had a very quick race car, but yielded to Joey Logano. Let's go down to victory lane.
Kyle Busch getting a victory shower here at Victory Lane at the Monster Mile. He picks up his 3rd victory of the season. And it was a victory you guys had to work for. I spoke with you this morning after qualifying. It didn't sound like you were all that confident you could get it done, but something changed. How good was that race car midway through this race?
It got pretty good when we got it tightened up enough. You know, there towards the end, it got really loose again. The last 30, 40 laps there, I was just holding on, trying to hold those guys at bay. And, man, lap traffic was kind of tough, just the way they'd loosen your car up, you know, when you got to them. And, but this Monster Energy Camry was pretty awesome. I didn't think it was, but it was. And I just never got the feel I was looking for through practice, and I was a little frustrated with that and a little frustrated qualifying, just not having the speed I'd hoped to have. But it was good on the long runs, so I can't say enough about JGR Engines, Toyota, Nationwide Insurance, and of course the fans. You know, appreciate them and everybody, all my fans and all the other fans as well too. But got some special guests with us here today from Monster Energy, so happy that they're here in Victory Lane with us.
So the truck win yesterday, the Nationwide win today. All you got to do for the sweep is win tomorrow. How would you assess your chances of pulling that off?
Yeah, our car's been really fast here, especially on a green racetrack. But we're not going to be racing on a green racetrack. We're going to be racing on a lot of rubber. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. But you know, I think we made some we unloaded fast, and I think we'll be all right tomorrow. We've got some good notes. Changed some things that worked, changed some things that didn't work. So we'll see how the peanut butter M&M's Camry is tomorrow.
You know, we think back to this race 1 year ago, and it certainly looked like you were destined to go to Victory Lane in that particular race. It did not work out. That one slipped through your fingers. Does that make this one a little bit more sweet?
No. You're never going to get that one back, so it doesn't matter. It's still a trophy that's at Logano's house instead of my house. But, you know, it's been fun to race in this series. I enjoy it. And, you know, these guys here, they do an awful great job. Adam Stevens, this whole JGR team, everybody back at the shop. Last week, going through everything last week. And this week being a little bit smoother. I worked them to death. But, you know, guys gave me a great piece today. Real proud of them. And, you know, fun to be in Victory Lane here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well worth all the effort, Dave. Kyle Busch back in Victory Lane.
The only driver, Mike, to win all 3 National Touring Series in the same weekend. He did it at Bristol in August of 2010. He's going to try to do it here tomorrow. His wins here at the Mile Nationwide Series. While he got to Victory Lane and got to spray the drink and receive all the accolades, this was going on. DJ, generally, what do drivers talk about after the race?
Just talking things out. You know, we heard Logano talk, and we heard Kenseth talk during the race that maybe they had a little disagreement on how things went on the track. So you talk it out and work it out. They've got to race against each other tomorrow.
Well, the streak is over for the guy on the right, Joey Logano. Shannon stands by with him.
3rd place finish for Joey Logano here today. Joey, I know how much you were looking forward to potentially getting that 5th win and that record here. Initial thoughts just at the end of this race?
Not good thoughts right now, but yeah, it's frustrating. You know, we were a little too loose and we didn't adjust enough the last run. And when you're free, I couldn't get to a car in front of me. You know, as I get closer, I just lose the grip to the car and start chasing it even more. And the longer your tires go, the looser you get. And I couldn't get there. So I felt like if I had clean air, we would have won the race. You know, whoever got out front would have won the race today. It's just we weren't able to get up there, and so we got beat. So kind of frustrating. It's going to take me another couple of years to get me back in this position again. So we'll have to start again in the fall.
You know, when we spoke after qualifying, you told me you thought that your car was certainly capable of getting the win here today. What happened during the race that had changed it?
I still think it was capable of doing it. We were just, you know, one adjustment off, really. We just we got a little too conservative for our last adjustment, and you know, and then I pushed it pretty hard there to start trying to make some passes, and this wasn't good enough to get by him, and then the car just gets looser. So the car was still good. We just needed a little adjustment to get it there, and unfortunately, we didn't put the Hertz Mustang in victory lane this time, but we'll try again next time.
Thanks, Joey. Guys?
And a very strong run for Trevor Bayne today. In fact, season best second place finish. Well done. We saw Kenseth and Logano having some conversation. You were in that mix at some point, weren't you, today? It was tough driving.
I was. I'm just glad somebody distracted Logano for me, because we were racing pretty hard there. These restarts, you know, you just had to treat them like they were green, white, checker today, because once you got in line, that's kind of where you ran. It was so tough to pass. But, man, I'm proud of this Advocare team. We haven't given up yet. We had a top 10 car almost every race this year, but we've been looking for that top 5 run. And today we finally had a car that was close enough to do that. Couldn't catch Kyle. There were times when I'd run him down and get within reach, and then I'd get tight. So, you know, Chad Norris and these guys have been working so hard to try to figure out what we needed to be fast here. This Nationwide Insurance Series is so tough this season that you got to be on your game every single lap, and I feel like we did that this weekend, but it stinks to be that close. You want to get greedy and just ask for that much more, but I'm so blessed by this team and Advocare and Ford and everybody that's a part of this.
Where are you guys making the strides?
Man, I feel like it's everywhere. You know, it's not one thing that you can point out and say, this really give us speed. I think it's all the little pieces that add up. But I will say we made one change in practice this weekend that brought the car to life. So that gives us a little bit of hope that we're not that far off, that we might be missing it by a little bit. I can't tell you what that change is, obviously, but, you know, I thought... a
lot of people in the garage want you to
exactly.
reveal that.
No, I know. So we'll keep that quiet. And obviously we weren't the best car, so they should go look at the 54. But, you know, I'm really proud of this team. My wife wasn't here this weekend. We got our 1-year anniversary next weekend. So if I'd have won, she might have been a little upset she wasn't here.
Yeah, well done. It was a good day anyway. Second place for Trevor Bayne. Let's go to Shannon Spake.
4th place finish for Matt Kenseth here today. I know you guys battled some tight conditions. I did just see you have a conversation with Joey. I know there was a lot of action on the track. What was going on?
Oh, I was just telling Joey how hard it was to pass, really. I guess he's frustrated because he couldn't catch me. So, you know, I don't know. So we were just talking about how tough it was to pass. Wherever you put a car in front of the other one, that was about where you were going to run. So, yeah, we were just too tight on a short run. We were pretty good on a short run before that, but got too loose on a long run. You know, so they tried to tighten it up, and it hurt it too much in the beginning of the run. And once you lose that track position, there's just you can't pass guys back.
Thanks, Matt. Good luck tomorrow.
All right, thanks.
Matt Kenseth, the 4th place finisher behind Kyle Busch, that guy who gets a big cement trophy of Miles the Monster here at the Monster Mile. Well, big day for Kyle. We saw Trevor Bayne there, by the way. That was his second top 5 of 2014, and he's done quite well here at Dover, and a big turnaround for Trevor and that team.
Yeah, they really needed that. They saw the points leader struggling a little bit. You have to take advantage of that. Certainly, he wanted to win. You could tell in his voice, but he's extremely happy that they found some speed. I did notice that he said they made one change, but he didn't share that with us. That made a lot of difference, and don't blame him for that. But he's got himself right back in the middle of this championship battle.
Yeah, Regan Smith struggled somewhat, not terribly, but he does keep the point lead. And Chase Elliott is starting to chew back into that lead that he lost and try to get back up there where he was.
He gained 6 points today. It was 28 coming in. He's now 22 back. Shannon?
Well, a top 5 finish for Chase Elliott. So you led the first lap of this race, finished 5th. What was the story of your race?
It was good to get that bust, I guess, but I don't know. You know, it was definitely a strong effort for the Napa group today. I felt like, you know, we started off okay, and I didn't think our car was as good at the beginning of the race as it was later. The difference was we had clean air, and it's so hard to pass. And every time we got back in traffic, you know, it seemed like we always restart on the bottom and just kind of had that frustrating type day, just not getting your line on the restarts. But it's racing. I mean, I just got to do a better job getting to the front. Kyle he was on the same strategy as we were, and he got back to the lead, and we didn't. So that's just, you know, just got to do a better job. But once again, thanks Nationwide Insurance for this series and what they do, and looking forward to getting racing next week.
Speaking of next week, obviously last week the setback in the points. How much of a shot on the arm was this weekend for you guys?
Well, you know, it's just we got to step back and try to go and try to compete to win races each week. And I felt like, I know we finished 5th, but I feel like we had a shot to win today. I feel like, honestly, the top 5 cars were very, very close. So, you know, I look at that and I feel like you got to be proud of the effort. And the pit stops today were absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they were had to be sub 12 seconds because they were on point. So really cool to see that and to kind of see everything click. And we just got to kind of set back, and I got to do my job better and just got to put everything together as a group, and hopefully we can get back to win again soon.
Thank you, Chase. Thank you. Guys?
Nationwide is off next week. The next race on the schedule for the NASCAR Nationwide Series will be in Michigan on June 14th. For tickets to that event and other upcoming races on the schedule, go to NASCAR.com/tickets. And that starts a string of 18 straight races for these guys, so their tongues are going to be hanging out in the Nationwide Series. Let's go back downstairs, Nicole.
18 straight and a very interesting mix of tracks. You've got Michigan, you saw Daytona on the list, Road America. It's a challenging part of the schedule for these teams. And not to mention, it is 18 straight.
It really is. I mean, I've been watching all the different racetracks. We've been running at short tracks, and we've been running at concrete racetracks like we are right here. But I tell you, the racetrack we're going to go to next week, Michigan International Speedway, 200-mile-per-hour speeds, getting down into turn 1. And, Brad, the one I got my eyeball on coming up is a road race up in Road America.
Yeah, they bend them up there. That's always a fun one to watch. But, you know, you come out of here today, and the thing I'm looking at is Regan Smith and Elliott Sadler both. They maintained positions. Didn't have great days, but finished 9th and 10th, maintained their positions in the point lead.
Somebody we didn't get a chance to talk about earlier, Ty Dillon, finished 8th. A solid day, but you're looking for him to take that next step. What is keeping him from doing that so far?
He said the other day that he's concerned about his team, that his team needs to really step up and get better, guys. I mean, we have talked earlier in the year that, hey, our 2 superstars coming into this are Chase Elliott and they're Ty Dillon. Well, Ty Dillon has not run as strong as Chase has. Why it is, I don't know. They got the same style horsepower. They're both running the same style cars, Chevrolets. They're both with super teams. So I think Ty will get going a little bit later on, but right now he's struggling a bit. He's blaming a little bit on his team. He says the team of Richard Childress Racing is behind, but I know Richard Childress, they won't be behind long. Go get going pretty soon.
Yeah, watch Ty. Ty's very, very consistent in that race. Does a really good job of keeping it clean. But if you look the last year when his brother Austin was driving the car, they didn't win a lot of races.
They didn't
win any races. Very, very consistent. So I think that's the type of team that this is. That's what it's built around. But I think Ty's very, very talented. We want to see him win some races because he's very capable.
What does he have to say about the upcoming schedule, Shannon?
8th place finish for you here this afternoon. Striking distance. You told me top 5 would be striking distance. So what do you think about this 8th place finish?
We didn't quite make it to striking distance like we wanted, but we're gaining as a team every week, and we're getting more and more solid inside the top 10. We're consistent, and we're going forward now. We started the race 12th, and we went forward all day, and I think that's just what we need. And me and Danny are getting more and more confidence in each other. I'm getting more and more confidence in my Nationwide Insurance car. I got to thank Airgas, Chevrolet, and Bass Pro Shop, Yingling, Light Lager, and Westco, just for being on board and helping us out this year. And it's going to get better. It's only going to get better for us. I'm getting more confidence in these cars, and we're going to be there. We're going to be there soon. We'll get striking distance soon.
Last week you told me that each and every week is a learning experience for you. You learn something new. What was that thing today?
I think I was able to build on last week in Charlotte. The last run in Charlotte last weekend, I was able to drive the car aggressively like I know I can. And we started the race, and I was at that point to start with, so I was immediately able to make small adjustments to get our car better and better as the race progressed. So now if we can just unload and practice and be right there with the speed and where I can drive it aggressively, that's when we'll be able to make those small adjustments and be within striking distance.
Thanks for your time. It's all about striking distance, Nicole.
You just said to me, Rusty, I like what he's saying.
Yeah, I do. He's got a lot of confidence. He's not blaming anything on anybody else. He's saying as a team, we're going to get better and better, and that's the attitude the kid needs to have. He's a good little driver. And one thing I noticed, he said last weekend I could drive that car the way I wanted to drive it. He hasn't been able to do that all year long, so it's telling me that he feels like he's got more talent than that car is giving him right now.
Yeah, that's an excellent observation that he has as you were listening to him, because what we see with this young man is what we expect. You know, we got a young driver with a lot of talent, and he's going through the growing pains, but he's being very, very patient. He's showing a lot of maturity in doing that. We kind of expect as well success because of the Richard Childress brand. But I like where he's at. We want to see him make the steps, and he'll take those steps.
Something we brought up earlier, the last 5 races at this track have been rather lean and green. 90% of the race was run under green flag. Now, I busted out the calculator, so this is always a little bit scary. But today, Dave, 86% of the laps, again, under green. Perhaps a new trend at the Monster.
Sounds very much like we're going to stay green at Dover for the foreseeable future. And it bit a couple of people, the Monster did, but mostly today went green, green, green. Well, up next on ESPN, it's qualifying for the Toyota NHRA Summer Nationals. And then tomorrow on ESPN2 at 4, the Summer Nationals, the NHRA Summer Nationals on ESPN2. The Indy Duel in Detroit, race number 2, 3:30 Eastern on tomorrow on ABC. And then a week off, we're back at Michigan. 2 weeks, 1:30 Eastern on Saturday, June 14th on ESPN for the next Nationwide Series race. What we saw today was that guy right there doing what he does best, and that's dominate a race. We mentioned Kyle, the only driver to ever do the triple in the 3 National Touring Series. Did that at Bristol back in August a couple years ago. But he's going to try to do that again this weekend, and he starts second in the Sprint Cup Series race tomorrow.
Yeah, and watching practice today, I think that we saw that he has a car that they continue to work on, and listening to him talk there in Victory Lane about that, his chances tomorrow, sounded a little bit like before this race today after he qualified, that he wasn't exactly sure he had that, but he finds a way because he's so talented. And these type of concrete surfaces, he gets the most out of these race cars. So look for him to be around tomorrow with an opportunity for that to happen.
Let's see just how Kyle got there today. Let's look at how the day went for him. Chris Buescher had trouble early, but he saved it, DJ.
Gosh, this is amazing. You don't do this very often. Gosh, I still don't know how he missed hitting the inside wall there. But he did that, came back, and had an 11th place finish.
Yeah, Kyle Larson was really pushing hard, trying that outside lane. Got just a little bit too high off the corner and really pounded the wall. I'm sure that it knocked some speed out of his car. He was able to come back for a 6th place finish.
Lap 77 pit stops for the leaders. Joey Logano comes in as the leader. Kyle Busch, you see there, pitting right behind him. But after the crew went to work, it was a 54 team, and that was the only time that Kyle passed Joey on the track.
And these restarts, it seemed like the inside lane could not get going down to turn 1 like the outside lane. So having control of that like Kyle Busch did by his good pit stops really was a winning move for that team.
You saw that outside line working. Trevor Bayne came through as well. Ended up second. And the bow, as he traditionally does when he wins. Let's hear from some more of today's participants. Let's go to Shannon.
Well, Dave, the how in the world did he do that moment belongs to this guy, Chris Buescher. You saw him save the car. If I would have looked inside the car at that moment and looked at you, what would I have seen?
It looked like I was sawing down a tree. It was intense, to say the least. I got up into the 7 early on going there, and it was a very wild save. I'm lucky I didn't see who was behind us on the replay there, but it's lucky we didn't get clipped on the way down. But it was inches away from the inside wall. Glad we could save it. We worked really hard on our Ford EcoBoost Mustang today. The guys did a great job on pit road. We stayed right where we were running. Didn't quite gain a bunch of stuff, but we're making progress. We're staying consistent. So I was pretty happy with that. Like I said, my first nationwide insurance race here at Dover, and we survived. I mean, we came out with 11th place. We were trying really hard to get another spot or two at the end there, but it was just it was hard to pass. I think everybody's touched on it. It was just very one groove. It was hard to get underneath somebody on exit.
You guys are just chipping away and really running consistently each and every week. What has been the key to you guys developing into the team that you are right now?
I think it's just been chemistry. We've started with an all-new team. We're coming together really well. We're starting to understand each other, starting to find a base setup that's working for me, as well as Trevor. Trevor had a great run as well. So that's cool to see our cars getting better. We're going to keep getting there. It's just it's a roller coaster ride. It's slow going, but we're working really hard over at Roush Fenway Racing, and these guys are going to get these cars to where we can go win some races.
Certainly a roller coaster ride, up and downs of NASCAR. Thank you, Chris. Vince?
And with Brendan Gaughan, who was 12th. Now, 12th might not seem like a gaudy finish, but when you hear the story about what you had to go through to get to it, it's a pretty impressive run. What sent you to the back first? Let's address that one.
A typical day for us in the Nationwide Insurance Series, man. Nothing ever comes easy for the South Point Chevy. We on pit road first stop, and we just got boxed in, and we ended up hitting, I think, the 44. just a racing gig on pit road, nobody to really yell at, and had to go back, do some damage repair, go back out, restart in like the 35th spot hole. Drove all the way back, didn't lose the lap, went to 13th. So our South Point Chevy was good. Richard Childress Racing, we've been talking about some new chassis, new Chevrolet stuff we've been building. This was kind of a hybrid, almost all the new stuff, and we should have been right there with our teammates, 7th, 8th, 9th. So we'll take it after playing on the bad end of the track position war.
We saw how hard it is just to get a position today. How good must your car have been to go from the back of the field to 12th?
It was pretty darn good for a while. We had a really good run in that right after that where had the handle pretty good. But then once you get up to those spots, it's aero tight, so tough to pass. Hell, it took me a while to pass like 20th place just because you lose your nose so much. So really tough to pass at Dover today. The outside groove never came in like normal, but hey, Richard gives me good stuff. We just gotta have those perfect days to make it all work.
Well, you kept digging. Well done. 12th place for Brendan Gaughan today. Dave?
So Kyle Busch, the winner, and I want to bring up something. 2010, Kyle won here in the spring, and then he won here in the fall. 2011, Carl Edwards does the sweep. 2012 and 13, Joey Logano does the sweep here at Dover. So what is it about this place, DJ, that brings out the broom? When you win one, you seem to get the other.
Well, you get that feel for what you need as a driver in winning, what it takes, and then it makes the crew chief's job a lot easier when you come back for the second race, right, Andy?
Yeah, well, it does, and it really helps to have a driver like Kyle that knows what the racetrack's going to do. He can help you predict how to set the car up, and I think that's really key. That's why Logano has won so many. He's very good at it, and Kyle Busch is maybe the best in this series at predicting what these racetracks are going to do.
We talked about skill of the drivers. DJ, you're looking at the schedule and saying there's a variety of tracks coming up to test that.
Yeah, they better enjoy this weekend off that they have coming up because it really gets difficult, and that's when we're going to kind of separate out who's going to battle for this championship, because you go to Michigan, then you've got a road course. You've got all kinds of different tracks coming up. It's really going to be fun to watch who develops out of this, and it's going to be serious contenders.
Yeah, there's a lot of points to be gained and lost in the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Of course, leaving today, Regan Smith is the championship leader. Elliott Sadler was able to get 1 point on him today, and he's in 3rd and 4th, trying to catch up just a little bit. Kyle Busch not eligible for the championship, but boy, he sure loves the trophies, and he took it home today. The big monster. NASCAR Nationwide Series at Michigan comes up next. That's 2 weeks from Saturday, June 14th, 1:30 Eastern on ESPN. Coming up next, Toyota and NHRA Summer Nationals qualifying right here. Kyle Busch does it again. He was able to tame Miles the Monster. He did it on the racetrack. They also did it on pit road. And Kyle Busch again comes away with a victory here at the Monster Mile. He broke Joey Logano's streak. He broke Matt Kenseth's heart. Kyle Busch the winner here at Dover.